Kayla and welcome to What My Plants. Today we're going to repot my pothos. My grandma gave me this pothos when it was just like 2 or 3 leaves, and now it's grown into this long strand, and I'd much rather have a full plant. So we're going to repot it, and I have a bunch of cutlings that I have taken a couple weeks ago, and we're going to put them all in one big pot, and we'll get a much fuller, bushier plant that way. So a couple signs that you'll know you need to repot your plant is you start seeing this mineralization happening on the outside of the pot, or your pot is getting dry much faster than you're used to. Maybe you're on a watering schedule and it's starting to get dry much faster. Or you can see roots coming out of the bottom of the drainage hole. So all those are good signs that you need to repot your plant. So let's get started. Fingers in there and get out, loosen up some roots in the dirt. I have a little cutling in here that I just put in here a couple weeks ago that we're gonna kind of finesse out first. There we go. And then you can hold your plant gently to the side and kind of work the roots, work the soil out from between the roots. Sometimes this can take a little while. You can shake it. It's okay if you gently break some roots. That'll encourage more root growth, but you do want to be careful. There's some, the roots are growing around the bottom of the plant, so that means it was getting kind of root bound, which pothos don't normally mind. They usually tend to push out some more growth if they're root bound, but it was just time for this guy. So you want to kind of break up the roots a little bit, get some of the dirt out, break its like form, if that makes sense. So kind of pull the roots out so it doesn't keep growing in that cylindrical shape. So now that we got that, we'll slide some of this. It's okay if you want to use some of the same dirt, but it's always good to add fresh dirt because that's more nutrients for your plant, especially if you aren't fertilizing heavily. So I have this new pot. It's just about 2 inches, I believe, bigger than the last pot. You don't want to go too much bigger because it might shock your plant. So it has a big drainage hole in the bottom, and so I'm just going to put a stone in there to prevent a lot of the dirt from coming out. So I'll just go ahead and put this dirt right back in. And then I'll add some new dirt. But you can use whatever you have on hand. I'm breaking up some clumps, and then you kind of make an indent for your plant to go. So I'm gonna make this hole and set this plant right down in there. Sometimes you might have to take some soil out. And then we're gonna take these long rooted cutlings. I have quite a few of them. So I'm just gonna take this tongue depressor that I have and make a little hole on the side and scoot these all the way down as far as they can go. These roots are kind of long, so it's a little bit hard. Gently pack them in there. You don't want to squish them too much, but you don't want air pockets in your pot because your roots will get stuck in those air pockets and they can't get the nutrients they need, which comes from the soil. So you want their roots intact with the soil. Since most of these have been rooting in water, they're used to a really wet kind of environment, so you'll want to keep your soil a little on the more moist side until they acclimate, or else they can shock and not grow as well for you. If some of your cutlings are struggling to stand up, you can put some toothpicks or some skewers in there to help them stand up until they fully root. But there you go, you have one long plant and a whole bunch of cutlings in there, and eventually all of these will grow and start putting out new leaves, and you'll have a much bushier and full plant in the end. So thank you so much. See you next time.